this event is brought to you by World Pro Racing, the Malta Motorsport Federation, GMR Entertainment, WJ England and Son, Melita, Media Looks, Restream.io, Gaming Malta, VisitMalta.com, and TVM Sport. World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
For only €5 a month, experience every high-definition moment on your TV, tablet, phone or PC. Great teams, great moments, and so much more. TSN from Melita is your ticket to stay in the game. Visit melita.com/sports.
Senna was a god. No one could even dream to follow him.
I'm from a very humble background.
The role of women at that time were really difficult.
This is so dangerous. You are risking not only your life, but also my life.
Wish your Wi-Fi network would just work in any room? Our new Stellar Wi-Fi is AI assisted to give you the smoothest, fastest possible Wi-Fi throughout your home. Stellar Wi-Fi, assisted by AI, exclusive to Melita. Find out more in-store or online.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to tonight's racing here on World Pro Racing. Tonight, we take some Corvettes, release them around the Alsace village racetrack in those Corvettes and see what happens over 15 laps. And tonight, we get to bring you that on GT Sport. If you're watching us here live on YouTube, Facebook, on ESTV, Motorsport TV, and TVM Sport, of course, we're brought to you by Gaming Malta. Visit malta.com, AMD, HyperX, Melita, and of course, the Motorsport, Malta Motorsport Federation. Now, of course, coming into this race here, these are casual races, so they are open to any driver that wants to try and throw their weight around and see what happens out there. And tonight we'll see some of those in action tonight. But this is a chance for the Maltese drivers, at least, for a chance to show their stage and prove their worth, for a chance to be at the FIA Motorsport Games to represent Malta, the nation. Separate championships are available to drivers from outside of Malta. The main thing is that these casual races are open to any and all drivers, and more details can be found out on worldproracing.com. We come to a track then that, well, it's a pretty twisty, turny track. Quite a few hairpins, but they're sort of open hairpins. There's a lot of overtaking opportunities around this track. It's a very wide track, coming to think about it, especially at some of those chicanes. And the very first corner going down towards turn one is a hairpin in itself. So it's really difficult, almost gives you that La Source feeling down at Belgium, where you've got to really try and pick out your braking spot on potentially cold brakes to make sure you slow down the car in time. And of course, that record set in April 2018, according to the various sources I found, 158.175 in these cars. So we're expecting sub 2-minute lap times from these drivers here tonight. Whether we will see them going into qualifying or maybe even the race is a different question entirely. Well, we'll hopefully bring you some on-track action very, very soon. And speaking of which, we're going to go and head to the track right about now as we see Kyokodo then making his way out onto the track and giving us a sense of what this track is like. And that final corner there, get right up and close and personal to that wall. And it's a very, very terrifying prospect for any other driver apart from Kyokodo there, who just takes that line like it's easy. It's so easy for him to get there. Ziffer then running around in second place at the moment, only 0.3 off from the practice time right now, and you can see that fastest lap time has been absolutely smashed, so forget whatever I was talking about. 1:53.1 from Kyokodo then, who has managed to really set the table and set the time to his own accord. And here is Ziffer then making his way across the line to set another lap time. Remember, this is just practice, so it's a chance for these drivers to hone in their lap times and just give themselves that little bit of a warm-up, that extra warm-up that these drivers love to have just before they go racing once again. Gelenu currently in third place then. He's around 1.4 seconds off the lead time right now. Remember, it is only just practice, so it's plenty of time for these drivers to really hone in and try and just get that perfect setup, that perfect line over and over again. JDM is in fourth place right there. You can see Malta NAP in fifth, Luke in sixth, Ricky in seventh place, with Ivan Birmingham rounding off the top 8. There is Kenneth then, who is in ninth place right now. Ilwindi is in 10th place. Dylan is there in 11th place in this practice session right there. And there is Kyokodo, who's come back into the pit lane now. The graphic says medium tyres, but take that with a pinch of salt. These could be drivers teasing us, or the idea that maybe the soft tyres could come into play in the race. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But there is Mikhail right now at the top of the table, 0.3 clear of Ziffer right now. Let's ride on board with him as we make our way now in towards this final section here. You can see lots of downhill sections in this final part of the track, and desperately trying to make sure that the car actually grips to the road as we head across the start-finish line. A 1:53.4, which is only a 10th off his best lap time so far, in towards turn one, where it is uphill going on entry, and just over that crest there you can just see how difficult it is to see over the crest, especially if you're on board here with these drivers. As we now make our way on towards turn 2, flying through this left-hander again over the crest. You're not quite sure what's over the crest there until you really get into the braking zone of turn 3. Lots of camber here in through turn 3. Apart from on the exit, we have to go over the lip, which can unsettle the car if you're not careful. Through this turn 4, it's a flying section here, really tempting to try and go through there and carry as much speed as possible through there, but be patient on that throttle. Then into the first real braking zone of the track, then in through turn 5, getting nice and close to that little bit of barrier on the right hand side. Of course, now making our way in towards 6, bit of a bump in the road there as we make our way now, setting ourselves up for turn 7. And as you can see, just riding on board with Mikhail, it's such a bumpy and undulating circuit here as we make our way towards turn 8. You can see there a bit of camber through turn 8 then, so it can carry a little bit more speed through, but again you're going over a lip as you make your way in towards the corner. Can unsettle the car if you're not careful. Through that slight kink of 9 then as we make our way on towards another hairpin here at Alsace, making our way through slowest part of the circuit really down to first gear, and you saw just touching underneath 70 kilometers per hour as we make our way through another left-hander. Over the crest we go as we go past a Corvette there who's got it all out of shape there. I think that was Ivan Birmingham we just passed there. Then you're making your way downhill once again in towards this final couple of corners, just braking just before that inflatable over arch there, and then in towards this left-hander before the flying right-hander getting up close and personal to that wall. And that's a lap of the village then as we make our way across the line with Mikhail. No improvement here, but a pretty solid lap by all accounts. It's only the medium hard tyres available here. I've just been corrected, so thank you very much to all the guys at behind the scenes for this event as well. So medium tyres are the softest tyres we will get at this event. So 15 laps, it's going to be quite a challenge for these drivers, especially then looking to try and find that consistency out here on a track that's got plenty of undulation, and it's also quite an unpredictable race as well. Heading down towards the first hairpin for the first time, it will encourage drivers to try and launch a move up the inside, and I think we all know from experience that it is very, very easy to get yourself into that mindset of I need to get in front of this driver on the very first lap. However, there's about 15 laps. In fact, there is exactly 15 laps of this race coming up. So you can't think that the race will be won on lap 1. It can certainly be lost on lap 1. So just bear that in mind. The drivers will have to bear that in mind. We've got some experienced drivers in the field as well, so they'll all know that that is the case. There is Jelenu then in third place as he makes his way now in towards the first corner. 1.4 seconds off the time that Mikhail has set there, who currently occupies top spot in this practice session as he once again makes his way over that crest and then onwards towards turn 2, through then towards the slow corner of turn 3. There's Kenneth then making his way through turn 5. 3.1 seconds off of Mikhail at the moment, but he'll be hoping that that consistency sort of tries to get him up the order as well. We haven't really seen Kyokudo much in this practice session. He seems to be all rubbered in and ready to go. We've got Dylan in the pits, so too is Ziffer. So different tyres, maybe trying to see how they feel out there. But in the end, Dylan will have to pretty much go onto the medium tyres if he wants to set quick lap times, especially here at Alsace. There is Luke then as he makes his way now in towards this final part of the track then, and you can see once again how much concentration you need here. Do not overcommit going through the right-hander, going through this penultimate corner, and then in towards the final corner, which is flat out through there, but you get right close to the wall on the right hand side as Luke then comes across the line to complete yet another lap here as he now makes his way through in towards the first turn. Of course, here at Alsace, based in France, but it is an original track made by GT Sport, 5.4 kilometers, based in France, and it once again takes us through it gives you that sort of village vibe, hence the name. It really does feel like it's a road that's been turned into a track, but it's bearing in mind it's got that sort of Le Mans feel about it as well, where although it might be viewed as a public road, you've got permanent curbs in place. So I bet this place would be heavily policed, just like Le Mans is when cars aren't racing here. But nonetheless, it is a pretty good track for racing, very winding, very wide. It's very wide for a street circuit, that is for sure. It's not normal you would see a track that this wide that accommodates normal road cars in the day. Then again, when it is an original track made by GT Sport, the sky's the limit when it comes to this sort of thing. Chelanu, though, has gone quickest then at the moment of the cars out on track, of course, topping the table of the drivers out there on track. And we see him now making his way through this long left-hander as we make our way through what is turn 4, and it just goes on and on and on, that right-hander. And if it came before Sochi, and that that long turn 3 or turn 4, whichever way you want to call it, it does really remind you of that one, where it really tests the limit of grip, and you've got to try and make sure you have the car making sure that it can hold on as much as possible through there, because you really will punish the car if you try and overcommit going through. Here is Ricky then, making his way on towards the start-finish line, 5th place of all the cars out on track right now, and currently 4 tenths off of Chelanu then, as we've got cars making their way out onto track. Chelanu in 2nd place, then Malta coming into the pits. We've got Luke here making a pit stop, going onto a fresh set of tyres as he now makes his way back out onto the track. And of course, this is something that the drivers will need to really practice as well, pit stops, and how much time do you lose? What sort of line do you have to take when you come out here? As that is Luke and Ivan, they're going door-to-door racing in the practice session. Well, I mean, I wouldn't encourage it, but of course, it's up to them. It's a practice session at the end of the day. Luke trying to go round the outside. He's made the move stick, and Ivan Birmingham here up for a fight between these two. Oh, Luke drops the back end then, and he's all the way around going through in towards turn 3, and you saw him there just took a little bit too much curb, and the back end just started to light up. There was really nothing you could do about that one. Spins all the way around. Got about 3 minutes of practice left to go, so basically 1.5 laps if you're out there already. And Ivan Birmingham, of all the drivers out there, 8th place at the moment. Kyokodo still has the fastest lap of this practice session, a 1:53.1. Do not rule out his pace, a 1:52 in the qualifying sessions. He is just so dominant when it comes to World Pro Racing, and when it comes to GT Sport. Kyokodo is one of the drivers you would expect to be at the top, if not dominating each race. Half a second he's faster than Ziffer right now, as he looks to try and get another lap to just try and round off this practice session. There is Ziffer then 2nd place, and half a second off one of the quickest drivers here on GT Sport with World Pro Racing, and that's not a bad position to be at all. And kart racer is Ziffer trying his hand here at GT Sport, and here in this casual race it looks like Kyokodo might not have things all his own way here tonight. He'll have to be careful about Ziffer behind, but at the moment he tops these timing sheets in the practice session. Ziffer in 2nd, Chelanu in 3rd with JDM Racer in 4th, Malta 5th with Ricky in 6th place, Ivan Birmingham in 7th place, and Kenneth is rounding off the top 8. Kyokodo then making his way in towards turn 1, uphill on entry, can really help with slowing that car down, especially when going uphill. You can use gravity to your advantage, so it encourages you, just like the first corner at the Circuit of the Americas, to really try and brake as late as possible, because gravity will help you to slow that car down. Making our way in towards the 3rd turn, and that is pretty much that practice session over. We've seen a 53.1 there from Kyokodo, so completely smashes all that research I just did there, but wouldn't be fun if it didn't. So we really are expecting, especially from Kyokodo, 52 in the qualifying session. We know he's capable of smashing times like that, and with it being a practice session, he wouldn't have given it all the full beans there. We are expecting to see what happens there, but we did see then that Ziffer is one to watch as well, within half a second of Kyokodo. And if you haven't seen GT Sport here on World Pro Racing before, then let me say that someone being within half a second of Kyokodo is rare, that's for sure. So I'm excited to see the prospect of those two battling out on track. But we do have qualifying coming up in just a couple of moments' time, and we'll be able to see which of the drivers will be able to get themselves high up onto the grid. Don't forget, though, as well, there's plenty of racing action coming up and coming your way here on World Pro Racing, and full details of those can be found at worldproracing.com. no less, we have hopefully the Triple Challenge coming up this Saturday, which is going to be on Assetto Corsa, celebrating everything British GT. So if you're a fan of that, that sounds like it's going to be right up your alley. As well as that, we've got on Tuesday, we've got the Rainmaster, the sequel at Laguna Seca. We saw Luke Whitehead absolutely, make it rain. That was a really bad pun, Kieran, but he did make it rain at the first Rainmaster. Can he really repeat that performance at a different track? We'll have to wait and see. And then, of course, we've got, starting on Wednesday, the USF 2000 series over on R Factor 2, a full championship, which will be brought to you by Alex Goldschmidt and Chris Buxton. 5 rounds taking us all the way through over 5 weeks. So it'll be really exciting to see who can come out on top right there. And if cars aren't your thing, well, maybe karts are. Yes, that's right. You heard me. Karts at Genk coming up on Friday, the 19th of March. So really, it is very varied about how we go racing here. If it's got 4 wheels, chances are we're going to go racing with it. We've got qualifying coming up in a few moments' time here at Alsace. And as I've said before, I'm fully expecting Kyokudo to have that 1 minute 52 lap time ready and waiting. If it doesn't come early in this session, he'll definitely leave it till late. Seeing that 53.1 from him in that practice session gives me every hope and every confidence to say that that 52 is inevitable coming up here. Also, watch out for Chelanu as well. Obviously, he's an experienced man out there as well. He'll be looking to try and get that competition down as well. He did get himself into the top 3 in that practice session, just over a second of what Kyokudo managed out there. So he's into those low 54s. We'll have to wait and see how he does in qualifying as well, as we will hopefully give you the qualifying in just a couple of moments' time. In the meantime, unfortunately, you're just going to have to hear me waffle for a bit. So if that sounds like your kind of thing, then you're in the right place for now anyway, until we've got cars out on track, and then obviously we will focus on that. But casual racing here on GT Sport, it's a great opportunity for the Maltese drivers to give themselves a platform. And if you missed the very start of it, of course, the casual races here, we are, of course, in cooperation here and racing with the Malta Motorsport Federation, to give these drivers an opportunity to represent Malta at the FIA Motorsport Games. So it really is a huge opportunity for these drivers. If they play their cards right, if they show how good they are out in these casual races, then there is every opportunity that they could be selected to represent Malta at the Motorsport Games. So separate championships, of course, are available to drivers outside of Malta. And the most important thing that is all drivers are welcome to the casual races on GT Sport. Just turn up, have a bit of fun, and make sure it's nice and clean, and you'll be welcomed for sure. So we've got the Corvettes coming up here. And let's just say they're a beautiful car, the Corvette, especially this latest rendition and these Group 3 Corvettes, especially in yellow. I mean, there's some great liveries out there. We did see Luke out there with his own name on the front of the car there, just so you know who you're being followed by out on track. I do quite like that. That is a nice one. We've got a couple of issues, unfortunately, going on in the background. We'll hopefully have those fixed for you. In the meantime, we'll be back after this short break.
This stream is powered by Melita, using Melita Gigapower Internet.
Wish your Wi-Fi network would just work in any room? Our new Stellar Wi-Fi is AI assisted to give you the smoothest, fastest possible Wi-Fi throughout your home. Stellar Wi-Fi, assisted by AI, exclusive to Melita. Find out more in-store or online.
Hi, I'm Adrian Figallo. I'm one of the directors of World Pro Racing. I'm also the race director for all the races from World Pro Racing, as most of you maybe know. I'm here today to make a call for anybody out there that would like, obviously, to be part of our team, our stewarding team at World Pro Racing. You'll be obviously taking the experience with us, with myself, and obviously my colleague and the director of World Pro Racing, also George, who's also the chief steward. We're both licensed stewards, so we're bringing the experience you get from real motorsport into esports. So all the people that will join the team, obviously enough, they'll be shadowing us during our races and giving them all the tips necessary to take various decisions. When it comes to motorsport, it depends what you're looking at. If you're having a formula race, it's one set of rules, and obviously you need to look at incidents and particular situations in one way. If it's a GT3 race, you need to look at rules in another way. So you'll be taking all this experience with us by shadowing with us, and then also being with us during the races to take any final decisions and discussions about particular situations together, so that we give the right penalties. That's very important, if need be, for that particular situation. Stewards are there during a race to have a fair playing field, to look that there is a fair playing field for all the drivers on track. So sometimes it's not an easy job to do, because obviously enough you need to take certain decisions against drivers, but it's important that from your side you do it in the right manner, balanced way, and obviously enough giving the right decision, giving the right penalties, and obviously protecting other drivers from any particular bad situation created by a third driver in that situation, so that it's fair on everybody. It's not an easy job, as I already said, but definitely fun, and obviously enough it's something that makes you grow. I take it from my personal experience myself, obviously enough. It started from passion to motorsport, then obviously enough got more involved into motorsport, got into general motorsport, because obviously I was at one time just going through one motorsport myself, but then got into general motorsport, and obviously enough got into race direction and also stewarding. This took me various places outside the island of Malta to shadow race directors, to be with foreign stewards, and also to be with the biggest pool of stewards from across the globe, even at a FIA level, and even learning there, and obviously sharing with us these experiences that they go through the year, from which obviously enough we always learn. Being a steward, it's a learning curve. Don't give up on that. Some people say, oh, because it's this, because it's that. Anything that you do in life is not easy. Stewarding, being with us, next to us, will pass on our experience to you, and obviously enough that will make you feel much better, and obviously will also give you the leeway to look at particular situations yourself and give your own decisions. And obviously enough we tip you if you're wrong, or obviously enough we tell you, listen, yes, you're going you're taking the right path to take the final decision on that particular situation. So if you're away from Malta, across the globe, you can join us. Still, we can do this remotely. You can obviously join us on discord.worldproracing.com. If you're locals here in Malta, that could be also a physical visit to our place here, to our obviously adjudication room, where you'll be sitting with us and going through the races with us, and obviously learning there with us. So locals and foreigners, take this opportunity. What you will learn, you can also then try to take it also into real life. So join us on Discord, or all our social media, being it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Get in touch with us from there, and obviously enough we'll tell you how you can join our stewarding and obviously race direction team. Thanks for watching.
This event is brought to you by World Pro Racing, the Malta Motorsport Federation, GMR Entertainment, WJ England and Son, Melita, Media Looks, Restream.io, Gaming Malta, VisitMalta.com, and TVM Sport. World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
For only €5 a month, experience every high-definition moment on your TV, tablet, phone or PC. Great teams, great moments, and so much more. TSN from Melita is your ticket to stay in the game. Visit melita.com/sports.
Senna was a god. No one could even dream to follow him.
I'm from a very humble background.
The role of women at that time were really difficult.
It's just so dangerous. You're risking not only your life, but also my life.
wish your Wi-Fi network would just work in any room? Our new Stellar Wi-Fi is AI assisted to give you the smoothest, fastest possible Wi-Fi throughout your home. Stellar Wi-Fi, assisted by AI, exclusive to Melita. Find out more in-store or online.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
Well, welcome back. I know it was a long time, but we've got some racing action coming your way here on World Pro Racing. We're taking some Group 3 Corvettes around the Alsace village for a casual race here tonight. And of course, we have had a couple of issues with GT Sport and making it run tonight. And the guys have been working hard to make this work. And this is the problems we've been having so far. And as you can see, it's not great. But hopefully the guys have managed to find a way around this and managed to fix it for us to all enjoy a bit of racing action. We should have qualifying coming up in a few moments' time. And hopefully gets us a chance to see some drivers and see them setting some competitive lap times and to see, hopefully, 15 laps of racing here at the Alsace Village circuit, based entirely fictionally in France. But at the moment then, we are waiting then for that qualifying session as we see Kyokodo currently making his way around the track. 53.3, as you can see, we are currently in qualifying right about now, and he's only 2/10 off of his best lap time he set in practice. It seemed like a lifetime ago, didn't it? But at the moment right now, Kyokodo does top the table. Mikhail in second place, Ziffer is in third place, Jelenu in fourth, with Birmingham in fifth, Ricky in sixth, with Malta in seventh, and JDM is going to be in 8th place. And of course, more about the Chevrolet, the C7. It was recently retired all the way in 2019. It's been replaced by the C8 ever since, but the C7 does have some really decorated times behind it. In the 65 races it was entered in real life, it won 16 events, including a class win at the 2015 24 Hours of Le Mans, making its debut at the 24 Hours of Daytona back in 2014. It does have a lot of history, this car, and as you can see, Mikhail making his way through it. It's being given a really good show today. And one thing we are going to be seeing is hopefully a bit of racing action as Mikhail makes his way onwards towards that start-finish line. Ziffer makes his way across the line. He's got Malta right ahead of him, but as you can see there, 53.351 is not too far away at all. Just under 200ths of a second off Kyokodo there to put him now onto the front row of the grid as Mikhail comes back into the pits, no doubt for a little bit of a pit stop and get him straight back out there. You see Malta doing the same. Jelenu out on track though, 4th place from him right now. Ivan Birmingham in 5th place there, but Kyokodo still leads the way in this qualifying session. And there you see Mikhail now making his way just out of the first turn and making our way all the way towards turn 2. And as we've mentioned before, this circuit is, for a street circuit, it's unusually wide. You can have too wide going into some of these corners, and that's not often the case you get with these street circuits. As you can see, just over 4 minutes ago, oh, that's JDM having a big moment there going through turn 4. Cars will spun all the way around, currently 8th place right there. He managed to get it facing the right way again, so fair play to him. But Mikhail there having to back off of that lap and really just try and focus on going again. Kyokodo there you can see though still at the top of the table, but only by less than 200ths of a second with just under 4 minutes to go of this qualifying session. Ziffer is going to be one to watch, of course, currently, really setting some really good pace out there. Kyokudo has set a 53.1 earlier on today in the practice session. He set a 53.3 in this qualifying session, but he makes his way now through the final corner and onwards now towards the start-finish line. Is this going to be a quicker lap from Kyokudo? Yes, it is. There it is. 53.1 extends his advantage with that pole position there. And I believe he's now gone quicker than he did in practice. So I'm kind of siding with he's just warming up, but Ziffer, meanwhile, has other ideas. He's now just gone fastest then with that 153, and he's gone, well, 0.012 seconds faster. So Kyokudo there has some doing to do. 53.134 from Ziffer now puts him on provisional pole position. I think these two are going to be swapping lap times all the way to the end. And as you can see, it takes nearly 120 seconds to get around this track. We're talking about 113, 114 seconds to complete a lap in anger around here. So for these drivers, as you can see, there's not a lot of time left, but if they keep putting in these lap times back to back, they should have 2 laps left to put in qualifying. But of course, they'll have to make sure that those laps are as good as anything. Here's Ziffer then making our way now through this long left-hander. On we go towards turn 5. Heavy braking here as you try and slow that car down. Get that car turned in as well. And it's a tricky one because you've had a lot of time there where you've been on the throttle, and you've had a lot of time where you are really trying to make sure that the car stays pointing in the right direction, and it throws at you this slow 90-degree right-hander, which can really, really throw you off if you're not careful with a car that you've, well, ideally built to try and take on these fast-flowing corners. There's Ivan Birmingham then currently in 5th place. He's 1.8 seconds off the pole time, but he is currently occupying 5th place here. As you saw someone go a little bit wide, you sort of missed the apex going through in towards turn 5 there. But Birmingham on a flying lap right now as he now makes his way through in towards turn 7 and then setting himself up then towards turn 8. Making our way now towards that long right-hander then. Making our way through and really using that banking there to try and carry as much speed as possible through that slight kink of turn 9 as we make our way now on towards turn 10 and then the hairpin of turn 11. There's Rick there making his way through turn 1, taking a bit of grass with him as well as he makes his way through turn 1. Be interesting to see if GT Sport allows that lap to stand, but we'll have to wait and see, as he did have all 4 wheels off the white line, which is what GT Sport uses to measure whether you are on track or not. And as we all know, the GT Sport, especially in qualifying, is very strict with its track limits. But making our way now through the second hairpin really, through in towards turn 4. Again, through that flying left-hander there, as you can see Rick there making his way through that first section of track, onwards then towards turn 5. Bit of heavy braking. And turn in for that 90-degree corner there. It doesn't look 90 degrees, but I can assure you, when you try and have to slow that car down, it really will be 90 degrees through turn 6 and then through in towards turn 7. A really quick corner 6. It can throw you off if you're not ready for turn 7. But if you have to sacrifice the entrance of turn 6 to make sure you get the entry of turn 7, so be it. Through turn 8 we go, again using that banking to your advantage. Clipping the grass there halfway through did unsettle the car, as the checker flag has now, I believe, come out in this session. So we're just waiting now for cars to complete their lap time. If not, then of course the time you see there is what I've just said is completely irrelevant. JDM then making his way through, currently in 8th place, 2.1 seconds off the pole position time with a 155.2, but he's only less than 0.2 of a second away from Ricky right up ahead of him. So it's every chance he can get in towards 7th place there as he now makes his way in towards turn 12. Very slow corner this one, as we now have the checker flag coming out now. So we've got cars coming across the line to complete their lap times. JDM there making his way now through this fast flowing section from 13 through 14, and then you're coming across now down the hill towards turn 15 here, braking heavily for this one, downhill on entry, so it can really wreak havoc with your braking point there. Through 16 then, still going downhill, and then in towards turn 17 as Malta sets a new fastest lap time. Mikhail set a new fastest lap time as well, as we see all those cars completing their lap times there towards the end of that session. We'll have to wait and see confirmation of who was on pole position. But for Ziffer there, looking pretty good in qualifying, I have to say. He's looking pretty on the pace. And trying to beat Kyokudo in qualifying is a huge task, a massive task. And for it to be 0.012 seconds, that is an amazing achievement then. And I can confirm that Ziffer has got pole position ahead of Kyokudo. So that's going to be our front row going in towards the next 15 laps of the race. So for Ziffer then, it's going to be pole position. And the question is, can he try and finish ahead of Kyokudo? It's all well and good being quicker over one lap, but we know and we've seen consistently that Kyokudo has the advantage going into the race. He is so consistent. And when he's out there on his own, when he has the track to himself, he can be very, very consistent indeed. So it'll be interesting to see two drivers we've never really seen battle with each other here on World Pro Racing. We're about to see it now. So buckle up, grab the popcorn whilst you still have the chance. We're in for a good race, of course, wherever you're watching this, on YouTube, on Facebook, and of course on ESTV, Motorsport TV, and TVM Sport. It's also brought to you by the sponsors you can see down below. Ready for your racing action here on World Pro Racing. 15 laps then coming up for Alsace Village, and it's a test to see which of these drivers will be able to finish at the top of the field after those 15 laps there. And let's hope we don't see those cars spinning out there as well. As always, make sure you can join our community down there, worldproracing.com. Now, I mentioned that we have quite a few events coming up there. And if you're interested in coming along for the ride and joining into these races, then you are more than welcome to. worldproracing.com. You can see there's a bit of racing on multiple platforms and a bit of racing for everybody, whether it's open wheelers, closed wheelers, or maybe even karts take your fancy. Yeah, there's a bit of everything. Go ahead over to worldproracing.com and check it out. So 15 laps coming up then, and we have two drivers who are mightily quick in qualifying. They've got themselves a good margin ahead of anybody else out there. We've got Ziffer on pole position, and we have Kyokudo completing the front row. We will soon be able to give you that on-track action very, very soon. In terms of the rest of the field, though, where we saw that the midfield there was pretty packed up there. Not much between the cars going through the midfield, so it should be a really good battle to see who can make up the quote-unquote best of the rest. And we will see very shortly how those battles can really come into action. I've mentioned before that going in towards turn one, it is a hairpin, and you might see some drivers go for that move going in towards turn one on lap one. Let's hope we don't see too much of that going into this one. However, the cars are out there right now, and we are making our way on towards the track, and there is Ziffer then, who's making his way, trying to really get away from the field now as we make our way onwards now towards turn two. He has got the lead so far. Kyokudo in second place as we now make our way all the way now down towards turn three, trying to really turn those cars in. And you can see there's Ziffer getting a little bit of oversteer. Kyokudo will try and take full advantage of that one, heading in towards turn four. And the one person you don't want to show any sort of weakness to is Kyokudo. He will take advantage of it wherever he can. Now making our way onwards towards turn five. Mikhail there in the mirrors of Kyokudo, you can see there as well. So he's going to have to watch out for that one. But look at this, all eyes now on that rear wing of that yellow Corvette ahead of him. Here's Kyokudo then all over the back of Ziffer as we make our way now in through turn six and then onwards towards turn seven. Through that long right-hander of turn 8, Kyokudo going for a move around the outside. He'll try and use the banking to his advantage as well. Bit of a deep entry, but he'll get the exit speed on the apex. And now going up the hill then, Mikhail has a great view of that one. Jelenu then in fourth place. He's got Malta and JDM right behind him as well, as we still see a battle for the lead then going in towards the third hairpin. And Ziffer tries to overcommit. He's missed his apex then. He's overrun the corner and we're going side by side once again. But Ziffer manages to hold on to the lead for now. But Kyokudo here is piling on the pressure as we now make our way and wind down the lap. Then we're still going to run side by side, possibly even three wide, going down in towards the final couple of corners as we make our way now through in towards turn 16 and then through turn 17. Mikhail then almost had the upper hand on Kyokudo. They're going to be running side by side for second place here across the line to complete the very first lap. Ziffer in the lead. Kyokudo having to defend the inside line going in towards turn one. He's managed to defend it off Mikhail for now, but still they run side by side. Kyokudo gets onto the grass slightly, compromises his exit speed, and that's one thing you don't want to do on the exit of the first hairpin. It's a long run through turn 3 and then on towards that braking zone, so you can't lose that momentum. Kyokudo trying to now go up the inside, but no, not quite there. Mikhail has done really well then. He's managed to get second place. It's now his turn to try and apply the pressure to Ziffer ahead of him. There's Jelenu then in 4th place with JDM in 5th. Malta is in 6th place then. Ivan Birmingham is in 7th with Ricky rounding out the top 8 for now as we make our way now in towards turn 5. And Ricky here just trying to make sure he can be as competitive as possible. Ilwindi in 9th, Dylan in 10th, and Kenneth is rounding off these 11 drivers as they now make their way in through turn 6. Back to the head of the field then, and through turn 8 we go. Ziffer still leading the way, and one thing he will be glad to have happened is Kyokudo slightly falling down the field. He did make that mistake out of turn 1 with Mikhail running side by side, found himself onto the grass, and it really did compromise his run on the exit there, but there's still plenty of time to go. We still have 13 and a bit laps to go here at Alsace, so plenty of time for Kyokudo to try and make up that time there. But at the moment, Ziffer leads from Mikhail in 2nd place, Kyokudo in 3rd, and we can see there that names changing through the order there, but Ziffer just holding on to the lead right now. But Mikhail is not going to make that position easy to defend through the final couple of corners, through 16, and then making our way through turn 17 and onwards towards that short start-finish straight. Goes uphill then towards turn 1, and then you can see Ziffer setting the fast lap of the race, of course, with the first proper flying lap. And we've got cars battling away with Malta and Ricky going up the hill then in towards turn 1. Malta does not want to be on the grass there on the outside as he goes to apply the brakes then. Ricky then moves up into 7th place. Malta then goes down to 8th. So Ricky now moving up a position. They did battle quite hard going over the start-finish line. We just saw that, the equivalent out of the corner of our eyes there. But these two are going to be battling hammer and tongue for 7th place as Malta is now all over the back of Ricky. He's looking for an inside move, then going up in towards turn 3. He's got that inside line. Ricky has the outside line, so in theory he's got the better exit, and he does have the better exit, using that bit of banking to his advantage then as we make our way now in through turn 4. We're still running side by side then all the way now towards turn 5, and who's going to be the one that blinks then going into this right-hander? Ricky's got the inside line, Malta has the outside line, and Ricky will have that position for now. We've got a spinner in the background. That is Kenneth, who's found himself around then on the exit of turn 3. What happened here? Oh, Dylan looks like he tried to take a lot of the track there, and Kenneth had absolutely nowhere to go. Just looked like there Dylan had a lot of understeer there, and unfortunately that Kenneth was the innocent bystander. In all of that then, Kyokudo has got his way past Mikhail and moves now into 2nd place, and that's the last thing Ziffer wanted to see. Kyokudo recovering from his start then and moving back up into 2nd place with all eyes now surely on the lead of that race. 1.6 seconds is the gap that separates the two leaders so far. There is your race leader, Ziffer, right now making his way in through the final couple of corners, then through 15 and then through turn 16, followed by that really tight right-hander of turn 17 where you get really close to the wall on the right-hand side. Beginning lap number 4 then, Ziffer in the lead, Kyokudo in 2nd place and Mikhail in 3rd. Jelenu in 4th place. JDM is now up into 5th place with Ivan Birmingham in 6th. Ricky there in 7th place. Malta rounding out the top 8 so far. But that battle for 7th place still as strong as it was just a lap ago. But Malta gets a little bit squirrely on the exit of turn 1. Dylan has come into the pit lane then for a stop in this one. And let's see what tyres he puts on. I would not be surprised if he puts on another set of mediums to get into this race. But a bit of fuel on board as well. Get him, well, he will hope to try and get him to the end of the race wherever possible. He's trying something different, hasn't had the best start, but he'll be hoping that a little bit of a strategy change might be the answer to get himself up the field. So there's Malta then, who's now in 8th place. Lost touch, lost base with a little bit of Ricky up ahead, but he did make that mistake going in towards turn 1 there, tried to overcommit, and it has cost him a little bit of momentum. And sometimes when you make a mistake, you can let that manifest in your head and let it fester and let it linger, and it really does affect you going in towards the race, especially a long race like this one. However, he's got to try and put that away. He knows he's quick, he knows he can find a way past Ricky. It's just that Ricky knows how to defend on this track. Now flying through turn 8 with that eagle on the side. Going now in towards that slight kink of 9 as we make our way up towards turns 10 and 11. Bit of a left-hander here going in towards the hairpin, so it's really easy to unsettle the car there. But Malta taking a much more aggressive line there, much more straight line to try and stop the car pretty much as soon as you get to the apex. And then up the hill we go then on towards this winding end to the track then, as Ricky holding on to 7th place for now. Ilwindi in 9th place, and unfortunately for him, he's just in a little bit of a race of his own at the moment. He's 6 seconds back from Malta, but he's 16 seconds ahead of Kenneth. So he's just found himself in that unfortunate position where he's just got to be on his own for a little bit. But here we go then. Kyokudo has really closed in this gap to Ziffer right about now. Remember the last time we checked in with these two, the gap was 1.6 seconds. Now it's 0.2 of a second as we make our way towards turn 3 then, riding on board then with Kyokudo as he has nothing but first place on his mind as we make our way now through the long left-hander of turn 4, staying in that little bit of a toe as you get that short run towards turn 5, ending the first section of the track. He won't try the move here as he just gets a little bit of curb on the left-hand side, try and open up turn 5 as much as possible. Then we go through this slight kink of 6 then, onwards towards turn 7, bit of bump there, just in the apex, really easy to unsettle the car there if you're not careful. Through turn 7 we go. And then it's towards turn 8 where you've got that banking there to try and help you carry more speed through the corner. It's how you take that banking though that can really make the difference in what your speed like is on the exit as we make our way now up the hill, end of the second sector then, as we make our way now up towards the 3rd hairpin of the track then. Ziffer still managing to hold on to the lead, but Kyokudo so far hasn't had a clear-cut opportunity to make the overtake work right now. He's on the tail of Ziffer, but nothing yet. We saw Ziffer make a couple of mistakes, showing a couple of vulnerabilities on the very first lap. Hasn't really showed that just yet, so Kyokudo hasn't really got anything to take advantage of right now. JDM Racer is under pressure. He's got Ivan Birmingham right behind him. This is the battle then for 5th place as we make our way in through the final couple of corners, heading our way down towards turn 15. There still is your battle for the lead then. Ziffer doing just enough as we pass a 3rd race distance, as Ziffer is in the lead of this race. Kyokudo in 2nd place. Mikhail is in 3rd. Shelanu in 4th with JDM in 5th and Birmingham rounding off the top 6. But Ziffer is going to feel that almighty pressure from Kyokudo any moment now as we're going to go side by side, are we, in towards turn 3. Kyokudo taking a wider entrance line in the hopes of carrying a little bit more exit speed. Are we going to run side by side through turn 4? No, we are not. But seeing Kyokudo try and take every other line that Ziffer is taking just shows you that he wants this move. He wants something to happen. Willing to take a different line, try something different in order to make the move work. Through in towards turn 5 we go. And then onwards towards the right-hander of turn 6 before we get to that flowing section of turn 7 then. Turning the car in. You do have to slow the car down for that one. Careful not to overcommit, otherwise you will find yourself with a mountain of understeer. Through turn 8 then, again, using that banking. And who's using it better? Well, you see they're staying nice and close to the apex there. Not willing to give it up. Mikhail then 3rd place right now. He's starting to fall slightly back, but he's still in those podium spots, and I know him, he'll still be ready to take full advantage of that battle up ahead if it goes awry for either of them. Shelanu then in 4th place then, rounding off the top 4 for the moment. There's JDM in 5th, still having to hold off Ivan Birmingham, racing away for 6th place as we head our way in towards that 3rd hairpin. But there you see JDM gets a little bit of a kick of oversteer on the exit of the 3rd hairpin. And Ivan Birmingham will see that as an invitation, going over the crest and then towards this winding section, then down towards turn 15 we go. They're going to be running side by side. No, Birmingham backs out of it for now, and that really isn't a place you can go side by side. Ziffer then still holding on to the lead of this race. 6 laps completed as we make our way now on to lap 7. Ziffer still holding on, but Kyokudo has got a really good run out of turn 1. Over the crest we go, and towards turn 2 we are running side by side, door to door. Ziffer has the inside line going through turn 2, but here you see Kyokudo will have the inside line going in towards turn 3, but Ziffer manages to get ahead use that momentum and just make sure he gets ahead of Kyokudo before the inside of turn 3. Now we head in towards turn 4. Kyokudo this time has the inside line, but he can't quite make it work, and Ziffer is really making Kyokudo have to work hard for this one. What it is doing is it's allowing Mikhail to really close in and try and fight once again for this battle for the lead of the race. You can see just in the distance there, Kyokudo just trying to pile that pressure on again, trying to run side by side, going in through turn 7. Still hasn't happened quite yet. Heading now in towards turn 8. He's on the outside here, trying to use the banking, maybe to carry a bit more speed through the corner. As long as he tries to get the apex there, clips a little bit of the grass there, might cost him on the exit then as we head through that slight kink of 9 and onwards then towards turns 10 and 11. You'll see drivers here start to try and attack this very heavy braking zone going in towards turn 10, definitely the heaviest braking zone on the entire circuit. Then we make our way in through turn 12 and then up the hill. Watch out for the wheel spin on the exit of the corner through 13 and then through 14 before you make your way in towards the braking zone of turn 15. Now Ivan Birmingham has now gone up into 5th place. He's found a way past JDM and he's now running in that 5th place spot, so he's moved up a position and will hopefully now, he'll be thinking to try and close in on 4th place, although he's a little bit of a way up the road, unfortunately. And there's a familiar sight. Battle for 7th place between Ricky and Malta. Malta really has closed back in these last couple of laps. Really played that waiting game, just focused on consistency and is now in the toe of Ricky then. Are we going to see a move in towards turn 1? Yeah, Malta's going to try and throw a move down the inside into the first corner, and he's got that move done. Has he got the exit speed needed to hold off Ricky? We're about to find out. He's trying to shut the door, but Ricky's still got half a car alongside, so Malta can't quite do that. He's got to give him the room now in towards turn 2. He'll have the inside line, then you'll see he'll switch across, try and take the inside line for turn 3. It's exactly what he's done there to try and defend that position. He's worked so hard to try and get Ricky getting a little bit onto the grass there. You saw the car really did not like that through turn 4, and Malta now has found a way past Ricky. At long last for him, he's found the move past Ricky, but Ricky will not let it go without a fight. There we're rejoining with the battle for the lead of this race. Ziffer still holding on to top spot right now, but Kyokudo is doing everything he can to put Ziffer off. Meanwhile, Mikhail is also right behind, looking to take advantage if either of the front two fall afoul of each other. Heading in towards the left-hander of 10 before you have to really apply the anchors in towards turn 11 through the slowest part of the circuit. Ziffer there has got to watch out for that little bit of wheel spin he might get on the exit through turn 12. Up the hill we go. A couple of bites of the cherry, but the car eventually does turn in over the crest, and we head our way now in towards 13 and 14 now. Onwards towards the braking zone of turn 15. You can see those brake lights lighting up then and running one by one. The top 3 just waiting here for that right opportunity is Kyokudo as we make our way across the line then to start lap number 9. Ziffer trying now to defend the inside line once again, going in towards turn 1. Can he try and hold on to that position? Kyokudo, meanwhile, will try a wider entrance in the hopes of getting a little bit more exit speed. And you know what? It might be working here because they are running now side by side as we make our way through in towards turn 2. But Ziffer's done this before. He'll try and now switch over to that right hand side of the track, but there's no chance this time around, is there? No, he has to late brake going in towards turn 3 there in order to stay ahead, and he has done there. Kyokudo is really finding it tough to get past Ziffer right now, but Ziffer driving the widest Corvette here at Alsace, so it's fantastic to see these top 3 battling so hard for these positions. Now heading in towards turn 5 we go. Kyokudo really just trying his best to get past. He's throwing everything at him, everything in the book at the moment. Ziffer's got an answer for everything so far as we make our way now in towards turn 7. On the run towards turn 8, you see there Mikhail just waiting for that opportunity. He's not willing to try and battle so far. But here we go in towards turn 8. You can see 2 different lines taken by the 2 top runners right now in the hopes that something different will be able to really take full advantage of. Mikhail just watching, waiting, seeing if anything happens. He knows these 2 battling will be able to help him, but there's a mistake there from Ziffer going in towards turn 11, and Kyokudo takes full advantage and takes the lead of this race. Then Ziffer trying to put the elbows out and try and keep Mikhail behind him. He has done, and keeps a hold of second place. Don't think Mikhail will be too appreciative of that one, but Ziffer trying to really desperately hold on to that second place. He lost one position to Kyokudo, and I think he might know there. That desperation means that he knows Kyokudo might have that race pace. It was everything in the book just to try and keep Kyokudo behind him, but there you can see he now takes the lead of this race then as we head on to the 10th lap here in World Pro Racing. Ziffer then going down to second place. He's now got to just try and focus again. He knows he's quicker than Mikhail. He knows that. He just needs to put those lap times in now, see if he can try and catch up to Kyokudo once again. We know then over one lap that Ziffer has been quicker than Kyokudo as well. But here's where consistency comes in. You can see the gap now up to 0.8 of a second. And Ziffer here has just got to try and recompose himself. Yeah, he made that mistake into 11, but now it's focused on getting your confidence and your composure back. It's not really bad for a first race here at World Pro Racing, though, is it? Having the lead for so long, battling against one of the best GT Sport races here that World Pro Racing has to offer. Not really that bad to go toe-to-toe with him at all. There's Ivan Birmingham then, currently in 5th place. He's being reeled in by JDM Racer once again. We did see these two battling away earlier on in this race, and there's that race pace we saw from Malta. He's now opened up a 2.9 second gap to Ricky there, so we knew he had that pace in him. It was just trying to get past Ricky, who put on a defensive showcase there for sure, as we're just going to see there. And Ziffer has lost another position there, this time to Mikhail going in towards turn 11. He's already behind going in towards turns 10 and 11 there, so he's now down into 3rd place, but still podium on the cards for him in his first race here at World Pro Racing. But at the moment, he'll want to try and get past Mikhail once again. He'll be a bit flustered having made that mistake as going in towards turn 15 there, really leaving his braking late then. Full faith in the car to slow that down, but these little mistakes here he's got to iron out over this time as he's just trying to try and get that composure back going in towards turn 1, but still holding on to 3rd place right about now. Not a bad job whatsoever. 2/3 race distance cover then. It's Kyokudo in the lead of this race, Mikhail in 2nd place. Ziffer rounds off our podium places. It's Shelanu in 4th place, Ivan Birmingham in 5th, JDM Racer in 6th, Malta then in 7th place, Ricky rounding off the top 8, Ilwindi in 9th, Kenneth in 10th, and Dylan rounding off the 11 drivers so far here today. There is Kenneth there making his way in towards turn 11, and there is Dylan, who's just exploring the circuit right now, going in towards turn 15 and now going in towards 16 and 17 across the line he will go. He's a lap down at the moment. We did see him pit in very early in this race. Fastest lap of the race then, Kyokudo 52.9. I told you we were going to get a 52 point something in this race. I didn't expect it to be during the race though, I will admit that one. Mikhail then in 2nd place, and he'll be hoping to try and build the gap here onto Ziffer as we now make our way in towards turn 8. And this is where the experience shines through. We know Kyokudo and Mikhail have that experience on their side. They know what to do in situations that really do test them both offensively and defensively in racing. And that is Ziffer. You know, we've shown the promise. We've seen how talented he can be at defending, and we've seen how quick he can be. It's just working on that now. That's all he really needs to do. Just try and get a bit of experience under his belt in what to do at what moments. And he'll be right back up there before you know it. But at the moment, though, 3rd place for him, not too bad on his World Pro Racing debut. So we have, in a moment, we'll have 4 laps to go once Kyokudo crosses that line once again to start our 12th lap of this race. 4 laps to go here at Alsace Village, and Kyokudo leads the way from Mikhail and Ziffer rounding off the top 3. Shannon then in 4th place. Well, he's made 4th place his staple in this race as well. So he's not doing too badly, but it's one of those races where you find yourself in a race of your own. He's 9.8 seconds behind Ziffer, but he's 7.4 ahead of Ivan Birmingham. So he's in that race of his own, and it's so easy to fall victim to that sort of complacency. When you're on your own out there, you might not be pushing yourself as hard because you haven't got a target ahead of you, but you haven't got to defend from behind either. So just got to be careful and guard against complacency. Someone who can't afford to get complacent is JDM, who's got Malta all over the back of him. Malta launches a move down the inside going in towards turn 3. Has he got that move done? Does he have the pace on the exit? He does for now, but there you can see JDM will have the inside line going in towards turn 4. They run side by side. They do make contact there, but Malta holds the outside line and holds on to 6th place there as JDM looking for a move up the inside at turn 5. No room for him, and Malta then puts himself now up into 6th place. Aggressive for sure, but it got the job done as he now makes his way on through turn 7. His next target will be Ivan Birmingham. And there is Ziffer there, who is one of the only drivers who's racing on a controller. So that's adding to everything we've seen here today. So he's doing a great job out there. As you can see, he's slightly off the pace right about now. And, well, at the moment, he's now 3.3 behind Mikhail. So he's struggling for pace at the moment. And his focus now will just be to try and hold on to that podium. Kyogoda then making his way on towards the start-finish straight to complete the 12th lap of this race and to start lap number 13. We have 3 laps to go here at Alsace. It's Kyogoda leading the way, Mikhail in 2nd, Ziffer in 3rd place. And once again, we're seeing Kyogoda build a gap. 3 seconds now is the gap between himself and Mikhail. And it just looks comfortable right now for Kyogoda. We don't see him often make mistakes. That's why that mistake on the very first lap of this race just really caught everyone off guard. For Ziffer and Mikhail, they were allowed to really try and get away from Kyogoda. But for Kyogoda here, it's been a recovery drive, and well, a recovery drive to a win doesn't sound so bad on paper, really, does it? 3.2 seconds now, the gap to the leaders. Ziffer then currently 6 seconds off the lead, closer to 7, but 3.5 seconds behind Mikhail. He's 9.4 seconds ahead of Shelanu, so he's still extending that gap. Shelanu here falling behind Ziffer, but pulling away from Ivan Birmingham. So the further he goes on into this race, the more lonely his race becomes. But at the moment, it looks like he's got 4th place, just anchored down at the moment, and it's just getting that car now to the checkered flag, which is not too far away for him. Ivan Birmingham, though, has managed to keep 6th place at arm's length so far, but with Malta behind you, well, that could change very, very soon over the next couple of kilometres. Birmingham has been holding on to 5th place for a couple of laps now after he was battling away with JDM Racer. And we're making our way now into the closing stages of this race. So Birmingham here will just be hoping to try and just put a padlock on that 5th place. Just try and lock it down and see if he can just finish there. There's your race leader then, Kyogoda. Over the crest then into this final section of the track to soon start the penultimate lap of this race, heading down in towards turn 15. Of course, using that little bit of undulation there, you can see, just to help the car steer in. Again, getting close with the wall at turn 17. But there he is then, another lap on the board. 52.8 is now the fastest lap of this race. Kyogoda is absolutely flying out there. 4 seconds, the gap between himself and Mikhail. He looks comfortable out there right now. That's all he really needs to do, is stay comfortable. And he'll absolutely walk away with this one now in the closing stages. Mikhail then 4.3 seconds behind. He is falling back even on the straights as well, as we make our way now down in towards turn 3. Ziffer then in 3rd place, 5.6 seconds behind, but you can see there, Shelanu, that gap looks stable to 4th place behind. So as long as he can just keep driving and keep this car on the track, then 3rd place is a very realistic target with only 2 laps to go. Shelanu there will be doing everything he can to reduce that gap. 7.8 seconds right now, but of course he's still got that healthy buffer to Ivan Birmingham behind, who is pulling away from Malta now, just little mini sector by mini sector. It's closer to 2 seconds now, the gap between 5th and 6th place. Malta here has really put himself on the map here. He's been aggressive, but you know what, the aggressive moves have worked, and he's now up into 6th place. And there is your race leader once again, making his way in towards turn 11. 5 seconds now is the gap. And this is the Kyogoda we were expecting to see now. 52.8, his fastest lap so far. And being at the head of the field, this is what he's most comfortable doing. This is what he's best at doing. Having a lead and holding on to it. Not just holding on to it, though, but by extending the gap. Lap after lap after lap. Kyokudo is so consistent when it comes to these scenarios that you'd rarely bet against him if he's leading a race for him to go on and win it. He now makes his way across the line now to start the final lap of the race here as he makes his way on through turn 1. And if anybody knows Kyokudo, that was a warm-down lap, that previous one, to go on for a flying lap for this one. He wants to beat every single time. He wants to beat his lap time from the previous one. So that's no different here. He'll be absolutely full attack on this last lap. No different to the other 14 he's been on. Through in towards turn 3 then. Getting that car turned in once again. Just looking so comfortable. So much faith in the car. So much faith in the setup. And just so much faith in himself. It's that confidence you need to really get the best out of yourself through turn 4 and then onwards then towards turn number 5. Gap is now 5.6 seconds there, just in the corner of your screen there, Mikhail, just appearing for a brief moment before the camera turned then to Kyokudo. Through turn 6 we go, and then onwards towards turn 7. This flying left-hander here then, as Kyokudo would have had yellow flags up ahead, but they've now been cleared. As he now makes his way down towards turn 8 then. Again, once again, using that banking there to carry the speed through. On we go then through turn 9 and onwards then towards the final couple of corners. Through the left-hander of turn 10, then in towards the right-hander, the slowest part of the circuit, in towards turn 11. Through the uphill left-hander of turn 12. Nice and simple there for Kyokudo. Makes it look easy, doesn't he, now? In towards this flying section, this flying couple of corners. Down in towards turn 15 we go. We've got Dylan making way for Kyokudo there, respecting the blue flags. Kyokudo making his way now through turn 16. And through the final corner at 17, it's Kyokudo who will take the win here at Alsace Village, and take the win he will. Great race from Kyokudo. He rounds off today with a win. Mikhail crosses the line to take second place in this race here, and Ziffer from pole to third, but it was his debut here at World Pro Racing. A very respectable third place. Gave Kyokudo a run for his money there, and that's not bad to make for a debut there. So there is your race winner in Kyokudo. Chelanu finishing out in 4th place. Then we'll see Ivan Birmingham comes to the line then. Pretty comfortable there in 5th place at the end, managing to keep extending that gap to Malta behind, who finishes in 6th place. JDM then crossing the line in 7th place, with Ricky rounding off the top 8. Ilwindi, 20 seconds down the road, should be able to finish in 9th place there. Looking at the rest of the order, 9th place looks pretty comfortable for Ilwindi there as he makes his way through the final couple of corners. We've got Kenneth there, who's just on the exit of turn 8, so it's going to be a while before he crosses the line. 41 seconds back from the car ahead, but there is your race winner in Kyokudo. Very rare you see him off pole position there, but even rarer not to see him take the win here at World Pro Racing GT Sport Races. Once again, showing everybody how it's done once he grabbed the lead from Ziffer after that Ziffer mistake halfway through the race. It wasn't really in doubt after that, was it? Another win then for Kyokudo here at GT Sport at World Pro Racing. And if that sort of racing takes your fancy, then make sure you check out worldproracing.com. There's plenty of races out there, and they're open to pretty much everybody. Just have a look at the races, see if you're eligible, and see if you like to go racing. We'd love to have you on board. If you've been watching on Facebook, YouTube, maybe even on Twitch, and of course on ESTV, Motorsport TV and TVM, big thank you to our sponsors there you can see below in AMD, HyperX, GT Omega, Thrustmaster, Melita, and of course Gaming Malta, and of course in association with the Malta Motorsport Federation to bring you this GT Sport casual race. Don't forget as well, looking at the schedule then, we should have the Triple Challenge on Saturday the 13th of March. So if you love British GT, that might be something for you as well. 3 British tracks for the British GT series. Make sure you tune in for them. Until then, though, thank you very much for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's actions. And until then, I've been Kieran Ginley. You've been watching. Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time. Good night.
This event is brought to you by World Pro Racing, the Malta Motorsport Federation, GR Entertainment, WJ England & Son, Melita, Media Looks, Restream.io, Gaming Malta, VisitMalta.com, and TVM Sport. World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
For only €5 a month, experience every high-definition moment on your TV, tablet, phone or PC. Great teams, great moments, and so much more. TSN from Melita is your ticket to stay in the game. Visit melita.com/sports.
Senna was a god. No one could even dream to follow him.
I'm from a very humble background.
The role of women at that time were really difficult.
It's just so dangerous. You are risking not only your life, but also my life.
Wish your Wi-Fi network would just work in any room? Our new Stellar Wi-Fi is AI-assisted to give you the smoothest, fastest possible Wi-Fi throughout your home. Stellar Wi-Fi, assisted by AI, exclusive to Melita. Find out more in-store or online.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.